Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies. Legend in the game, I think I found a solution. Got a crazy kind of flow, I need a verbal institution. Monster on the mic, I feel like hip-hop then adopted me. You pussy niggas shook, you let them turn this to a mockery. I give a fuck about their recognition. I'm trying to spit the fucking truth, somebody get the message. These politics, they overstate the obvious. They shooting like Stoyakovich, it's war on every continent. Deeper than you know, I'm what you hate if you the government. Young black with heart, I put a hex on the establishment. Niggas playing patty cake and I was trying to regulate. A lot of them I emulate, but none of them I demonstrate. Hip-hop will never need a eulogy. They give us 10%, they trying to take away gratuity. Work for what you want, I learned that from fucking Aubrey. And she ain't never lied, I told her this was nothing new to me. This must be everything.
Real talk, bringing us in, bringing us back. I know it's been a hot minute. I know. You know who I am. I'm Dead on Dave. I'm back in effect, y'all. It has been way too long. I'm very sorry about that, Real talk. Thank you so much. Sorry about the long hiatus. Look, life has been absolutely crazy, and sometimes you need big life events to kind of put shit in perspective. And I think that most people could agree we've had one of those weeks. This is culturally maybe one of the most significant death-wise we've ever had. I mean, we've had big names over years. We've had big names in months, probably even huge names in weeks. But this week, I don't know. I don't know if we've ever had a week quite like this. So I want to talk about that. I felt it was going to be a really good topic to talk about. I thought we can get into that because, you know, this channel started, friggin' 15 years ago, whatever. It's been 10, 12, 13, 15, fucking something like that. Years ago, it started with wrestling. And I've never stopped. Yeah, it's harder in my 40s. I got to be honest, especially now that I have a life and have to work and everything. It's totally different. Never thought I would. Anyone who's watched me for a long time, especially if you have been away for a while and this is the first show you've caught where you're looking at me like, wait a minute. This doesn't look like my normal fat man. That's because a lot has changed. A lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. I got a lot of self-promotion to do because while the streams and the shows have not been coming, I do feel I am El Closo. Let me crank up my volume, crank up my volume, crank up my mic, crank up my volume. I think I'm getting very close to being able to try to be consistent again, possibly. And that's the whole thing. I was going to do onesies and twosies and just do shows when I felt like it, but that's not me. That's not me. I don't enjoy that. I hate doing it. It just bugs me. It leaves me with blue balls. I'm either doing shows or I'm not doing shows. So hopefully with this monumental week in Losing Legends, this will get me back into a little bit of a rhythm because I still put shows together. And while I'm at the shop, which is now Central Cards and Collectibles, that's right. Your boy's moving on up in the world. I just mutter all day, and goddamn, gotta deal with all these assholes on the internet. And now in real life, there's just so many people. But anyway, we gotta start with Hulk Hogan. And I do want to talk about late night stuff. I got get late night TV off my mind. I also am gonna talk a little bit about Alexandra Rodriguez because she did something insane. So I want to talk about that. Bo Blacks and Tipster. I think I might do a separate show for Alexandra Rodriguez and Bo Blacks and Tipster. Because I just want to talk about Bo Blacks and Tipster because it's fucking funny. Because it is so goddamn funny. They just keep going. It's unbelievable. It's the feud that never ends. A slam chop sing-along, but everybody's retarded. It's awesome. And then you got this Alexandra Rodriguez situation, which I really want to talk about, which is insane too. So probably do another show in the next day or two, so stay tuned, dude, for that how. But let's start with the Hulkster, man. Actually, let's not start with the Hulkster or even Ozzy, because Malcolm Jamal Warner, huge death. If you're around my age, and I do feel there is some cultural division that we're going to, like, not even cultural, but generational division that we're going to have to talk about, especially when it comes to Hogan, because I am so conflicted when it comes to Hulk Hogan. But it's really just because you feel like shit talking good about him in public. That's his fault. That's not my fault. It's his fault. He did screwed up shit. But Malcolm Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable, man, just an incredibly important character because, and I don't want to get into like the wokeness and anything like that, but Bill Cosby, for all of his later faults, one thing that was very important to him while making the Cosby Show was to not have any negative black representation throughout the show. It was very, very important to him. Going as far as hiring clinical psychologists and therapists and all these other people just to make sure that no negative representation of black culture would be depicted on shows that were drawing Super Bowl numbers, frankly. So it's he went to great lengths. And I think for a lot of people who were growing up as teenagers, seeing Theo Huxtable, seeing that portrayal by Malcolm Jamal Warner, really, giving a great depiction of young black youth. And I think that was something that was needed at the time on television. It just because there was really not a lot of representation. That wasn't almost, if it wasn't Jimmy Walker, man, it's like Dynamite died out in the 70s and shit. So, but I digress. He was just an incredibly important person for a lot of people. So very sad death, drowning. Just God, man, I can't think of a worse way. I just do not want to drown. I'll go a bunch of different ways, but I ain't trying to drown. Your boy ain't trying to drown or burn up. No. I say no to you. But there's another death that has happened this week because apparently it's not just limited to 3. There is 4. And I think it's a really, really important death in Chuck Mangione, man. I mean, like, he's pretty much the only trumpeter I can name. Outside of Louis Armstrong, that's about it. I may have started going to the prices right there. But y'all know Chuck Mangione. And why it's even more significant this year, and it's so sad about his death, is that because King of the Hill is coming back. King of the Hill is about to come back, and it's doing something that shows don't do unless you're Mike Judge. Mike Judge likes to bring back his characters in the age they would be. So we're in real time King of the Hill, and I love that. Everyone's grown up, everyone's aged, and now they have to live in this time period. But one of the longest running, if not the longest running joke in King of the Hill was a Chuck Mangione gag. Yeah, they use Chuck a lot. So I'm 100% sure Mike Judge is not going to let that joke go. I'm sure he's going to bring it in. So hopefully we'll get some Chuck Mangione in the new King of the Hill series. But that was a very sad death. And I just wanted to give that a second because, man, how do you, all right, let's start with Ozzy just because of the story that Ozzy brought to us in his final month. So Ozzy has been wanting to do a farewell concert for a while. I swear I've been hearing about this show for well over a year. It's been pushed back because he's been dealing with Parkinson's. Really, really bad Parkinson's. And now after his death, we're only finding out just how bad it was. Look, the man took himself off of painkillers, a man who probably did more drugs than almost anybody else in the history of the world, decided not to do drugs just so he could be clear-headed. He was in pain, which, of course, if you guys know anything about me, I very much identify with, just so he can express his art one more time to the people that just mattered and brought him and gave him everything. And I thought that was just a beautiful farewell. I hate his wife. I hate Sharon Osbourne for a lot of reasons, man. Sharon, I didn't always hate Sharon. She wasn't always, well, actually, Sharon was pretty much always this way and always insufferable. That is the reality. But seeing how concerned she was for Ozzy, even after all the fighting, all the breakups, all of the bad press and the vitriol, just seeing her be there for him, showing concern when he wanted to get up and wanted to try and stand. I mean, like, it really, if you don't know, like 3 weeks ago, Ozzy did this farewell concert and rocked it. It was like literally July 6th, and he rocked it. And in Birmingham, and everybody was there. Aerosmith was there, Metallica was there, Jason Momoa was in mosh pits. It was just an incredible event. That's going to be a movie next year, by the way. So if you missed it, you will have a chance there. But Ozzy has put that thing together, and then he does this really great show. His voice wasn't there, but his presence was, and he hit a couple of good notes every so often. One of my favorite moments in the entire show was just his remembrance of Randy Rhoads. I thought that was absolutely beautiful and poignant and sad. But knowing now, I think Ozzy knew he didn't have a lot of time. That's why he had to do that show. And kudos for him because he didn't shortchange anybody on it. It was awesome because he was awesome. And you're talking about a problematic guy, too. Ozzy's done a lot of fucked up shit in his life. A lot of transgressions, a lot of law breaking. In fact, not for nothing, but Ozzy did one of the worst things. And remember, Ozzy wrote a book, and he did not hold back. Ozzy shot like 16 cats. Killed, knifed, and shot like 16 cats. He killed all the cats in his house. Ozzy did that. I'm just saying, Ozzy has shit in his past. And it didn't matter, because I'm really, the older I'm getting, I'm starting to believe that creativity, being creative, because not everybody's creative. I'm learning that too the older I get. I really thought that everybody has like the same amount of creativity in them and everyone's just lazy and doesn't want to chase their creativity. No, most motherfuckers are boring and not creative. And I think that's because creativity is a form of mental illness. And that's why so many creatives kill themselves, go crazy, kill other people, something. And it's crazy to me just how many people that are creatives. And this is a Rick and Morty thing, but it's true. It seems to be very, very true. And Ozzy had to deal with his id to ego, whatever you want to call it, whatever it puts this extra burdens on the creative mind. He battled them publicly. Ozzy's got some of the greatest stories. Everybody who's in entertainment, and especially music, has an Ozzy story. One of my favorite Ozzy stories that sometimes gets tossed around as real or not real was with Motley Crue. Motley Crue at the time was partying harder than anybody out there. Nikki Sixx died, These guys were shooting alcohol in their veins. These guys were hardcore partiers. Ozzy walks in the room, not scared by any of them. Half hour later, they look at Ozzy over in the corner. He's snorting a line of ants. This is the guy who pissed on the Alamo. Just an incredible run. And then when you saw him on the Osbournes, when we got to see him as a reality star, I see him with his family, we got to see just kind of why he got into that type of stuff that he got into. He can't help it. He just wanders around and does Ozzy things. And it was really an incredible life that he lived. And I'm glad that we got to do and see as much as we did. Ozzy created the incredible event like Ozfest. He gave back this final concert. He didn't take a dime. Nobody made a dime off that. They gave all of it to Parkinson's research, which is fantastic. Just an absolutely classy act. Not that family needed any more money, but still, that was just a really great move. And I just really appreciated Ozzy and everything that he did. It was just a great farewell. And that was before knowing that he died. 3 weeks later, he dies out of nowhere, and no one can believe it. It's my radio station is distraught. I listen to 102.9 The Whale over here in Connecticut, and let me tell you, they are distraught on the radio. These guys can't function. They don't know what to do. Everybody is just requesting Ozzy songs all day long. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's because Ozzy is just one of those few people that you can mention the name and everybody will have something to say about him. And that is just a rare thing because he was relevant for every decade of his life, essentially. From his 20s all the way to his death, no time went by where he didn't have some sort of relevancy. And then to go out on his terms with his bandmates, talking about his memories, sharing it with his fans, you just don't get to go out like that. You don't. there are not too many people who have as many like weird things on their plate as Ozzy does too. You're talking about a guy who's, you're not going to certainly go, oh yeah, it's an easy Hall of Fame human. No, he did a lot of messed up things. And I think that's what's so interesting about him. And then the other huge death, which you can make an argument, because when Ozzy died, I said he might be the most culturally significant death we've ever had. I've been trying to think of another name that has died up to this point, and maybe like a Milton Berle or Frank Sinatra for another generation would probably be the closest, and maybe Elvis Presley even. But none of those motherfuckers, I mean, like, I guess Frank did, but not in the same way. To get to late 70s and like, no, it's a little different. Ozzy's run, if you experienced Ozzy's run, it's a different run. It really is one of the all-time greats. It's up there on the Pantheon. But there might be a more significant cultural death, and I think it's Hulk Hogan, especially for Americans. I've been going back and forth all week about this, which is sick to do, but I'm not sure, but I think Hulk Hogan edges him out. And it's interesting, and it's a tough discussion because they share this and where they had a very checkered past. But Hogan, because his in the last 15 years has been about race in the worst time to be about race, especially to be a racist, and there's no way you can defend that he wasn't. And by his own admission, everyone's a little racist, and you got to deal with the ramifications of that shit. And unfortunately, his death is where it really comes to a head. And it seems like right around my age is the cutoff. 40. I'm 42 now. But 40 and under 40 seems to be a little bit harder to really celebrate Hogan and his life in his death. Over 40, we just want to make it about the wrestler. We just, for fuck's sake, like if you didn't grow up a fan, if you weren't 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old when Hulk Hogan turned to the NWO, shut the fuck up. This ain't your conversation, all right? I didn't know how I wanted to approach this. I wasn't sure. Part of the reason why I haven't gone live about this Hogan death in the last couple of days is because I honestly was not sure how to approach this, but I got to be honest. Shut the fuck up. This one is really just ours. Hulk Hogan's death is such a significant death that it feels sad that we can't properly mourn that person. Hulk fucking Hogan, that wrestler, that man. We can't, it feels awkward to celebrate him because of the way that he went out in the last 15 years, the awkwardness, the racism and all this shit. Even though he tried to make good. And for some people like Devon Dudley, he said it's enough. Maybe it should be enough. For me, I'm saying enough. You gotta fucking talk about this legacy. If you're an American, especially, he's just so important. Terry Bollea, wrestling had megastars, okay? It's not that wrestling never had megastars. Bruno Sammartino, Ivan Putski, there's plenty. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, plenty. There was something different about Hulk Hogan. We make fun of it now, but the fact is, at his size, legit 6'7", legit 6'8", 300 plus pounds, the dude was an incredible athlete, for as limited as he would become. Incredible athlete. And that is one of the big hallmarks. Everyone talks about Andre the Giant, and when Andre was alive, Andre was the most famous person alive. And it wasn't just because he was the world heavyweight champion or undefeated in wrestling or any of that. It was because he literally was unique in that he could not go anywhere in the world without being recognized. Because even if they didn't know, oh, that's Andre the Giant, they go, that's a giant. How many giants do I know? That's Andre the Giant. And which is incredible. And he was like that until he died. And remember, He died in his early 40s. He was like 44 years old. He died very young, and it's him and Babe Ruth, I believe, honestly, are the two most famous people that ever lived. But I think another name is added to that, and your third is Hulk Hogan. Because when Hulk Hogan in the 80s could not go anywhere without being recognized, and because of his size is one of those factors. He was not going to hide many places. You know, he brought a different type of stardom to a sport and entertainment that just, not even that it wasn't there, it just wasn't capitalized on. He was a crossover talent that could do a lot of different things when he put his mind to it. You know, like, we could make fun of his movie career. Mr. Nanny's awesome. Mr. Nanny's awesome. All right? Mr. Nanny's awesome. It is. It is fucking awesome. But he just represented so much. And it didn't really make sense because he was a ridiculous character, you know? Like, let me tell you something, brother. Just say your prayers. And he had fundamental little things that were so good. You say your prayers, train, take your vitamins. How could you not buy into that? You know, you wanted to believe that these were American values, some of the things that he talked about, you know, being there, loyalty, hustle, respect, all that. You know, we're talking about John Cena before he was John Cena. You know, before there was a John Cena, it was Hulk Hogan. Very, very similar in a lot of different ways. Inspiration for a lot of different reasons. But it's just, he was able to not only, what's going on, DM King? He was not only to be able to be that type of guy in and out of the ring. When he made the change, when he switched, when he decided to go heel, even though he started in the business heel, when after all the fame and everything, to go into the NWO and put the business above his own ego. Because remember, at first, he didn't really want to do it. You know, he wanted to remain the Hulkster until whatever. He was pretty much getting done with wrestling anyway. But the NWO changed all of that, changed the course of history, changed wrestling. And I really have been beating my brain. It's by far, Hulk Hogan is by far the biggest wrestling death. I don't even think it's close. And I don't know if there's going to be another one that is close. Vince is probably the closest because Hulk and Vince are synonymous. You know, you can't have one without the other. Though I don't think Terry Bollea doesn't become Hulk Hogan without Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon doesn't turn WWE, WWF into what it becomes without Hulk Hogan. So it's pretty funny because you can create that character, but if you don't have the right guy, if the right guy doesn't pull it off, you're boned. It's just not happening. There's no way around it. And those two, they needed each other. They probably resented each other. They felt like they didn't need each other, but ultimately they pretty much showed that they did. Because no matter how successful the NWO was, even during the run, it was chaos. And Hogan, like, if there would have been anyone really with both hands on the wheel over there, because Bischoff had one hand on the wheel and one hand down his pants. But if anybody would have had both hands on the wheel and really guiding where the ship was going, the NWO in some way, shape, or form would still be going today. You know, like WCW would still be around in a significant fashion. But because there wasn't, because the visionary that Vince is whatever, was not there, like, it wasn't going to last. And I think Hogan knows that, ultimately knew that. And it's just, I've sat here and this death has just sat on me for days now. And it's so messed up. It's like that. Yeah. Everything that's been said about the man has been said. We know who he was. Unfortunately, he disappointed a lot of people. Man, again, this might be one where some of y'all have got to shut the fuck up. Because if you're 40 and older, it just hits different. And it's going to be interesting as we get older, as some of these stars that now these new generations have grown up with, they start to age and die. And I'm not talking about like the Kurt Cobain deaths. I'm not talking about the young deaths. Those are always tragic. I'm talking about the long life. I'm talking the crazy up and down career. You're like all these legends that are out today that people are talking, like the Beyoncés, the Miley Cyruses, all the whatever, the people who have had some controversies, ups and downs. They got 40, 50 more fucking years to go. They got to stay relevant for 40, 50 fucking more years. That's how long these motherfuckers stayed relevant for. You understand what I mean? Like, there are absolute levels to this. Babe Ruth, like I said, Andre the Giant, like I said, two probably the most famous people that ever walked the planet. They both died fucking young. They didn't have decades of stardom. They didn't have decades of fame. They didn't have decades of influence. Who sold, like Ozzy sold like so many fucking albums, and not just albums. He would end up selling TV shows and all this other shit. Hulk Hogan, you add it all up. If you give him NWO numbers, if you give him the NWO credit, ain't nobody who sold more merch than Hogan. You can give Cena. If you give Hogan the NWO numbers, which you should, you can double Cena's career numbers and they ain't catching Hogan's career. Nope. Because Hogan's numbers from start to finish, because he still sells merch, and now what's happening with his merch is apparently insane. Everyone's buying a Hulk Hogan t-shirt, and everyone's buying that American beer. Now that American beer is going to be like the biggest beer in the world. It's so weird. It's so fucking strange. Nobody wanted it to a week ago. So weird. So weird. Now I even want to try it. I'm lame too. What can I say? But I don't know if anyone sold as much as Hogan. I honestly believe that. I don't even think it's close. You can add up people. You can give them combos. They ain't catching the Hulkster as far as merch sales. So as it really was just a crazy death a week. And then there was another death that happened about a week ago now. It was announced, and this one was sad to me too, for different reasons, and we're going to get into that. About a week ago now, it was announced that The Late Show is over. Not Stephen Colbert is being replaced, which is what I was hoping, because Stephen Colbert should have never, ever been announced as the replacement for David Letterman. Because, again, if you guys have been around here for a while, if you're watching this and you've been around, and you know me, I love late night TV. And late night talk shows is the greatest shit that's ever been. You know what I mean? And David Letterman was the king. In my opinion, the greatest talk shows, the greatest interviewer of all time is David Letterman. And as he was wrapping up, there was a guy who was he would come on after him by the name of Craig Ferguson, who really could have ended up being the greatest late night talk show host of all time, because he's already on the list as potentials, you know. And unfortunately, it seemed like, and I got to look up the story. I got to figure out exactly what happened, because it seemed like Dave wanted him, and then things got very quiet. And apparently CBS chose Colbert. And I hated that decision from the jump. Man, did that piss me. Because I don't like Stephen Colbert at all. I didn't like him on the Colbert Report. And not that I didn't like his character. I don't like him. I don't like the way he delivered it. I just never liked him and his delivery. I just did not think he was that good. And I certainly didn't think he fit the role in a late night role. He did a different style talk show with the Colbert Report. That is not the same. The format might be incredibly similar, but it's not the same. And that's because Johnny Carson is probably the only guy who really ever understood it. And Dave really understood it to a different degree, different levels, because Carson kept politics completely off of his show. David Letterman would have politicians on and talk politics, but David Letterman was constantly making fun of you. And I don't just mean the guests, because he was always making fun of the guests. Yes, even the presidents that he would have on. He was always making fun of you, us, as the audience. It was always a joke. and a gag and something that you always felt that Dave knew that we didn't, that he was laughing at us for simply not knowing. And I don't know. It was a simple charm about that always diffused politics. We don't have that anymore. It's if you're not talented, you have to lean on a gimmick. And right around that time when Colbert took over, when Trump was taking office, it was just the right time to go full ham hock shitbird on the politics. And that's what we've gotten since. You know, all of the because Colbert started getting views with all the people who just simply hated Trump and hated, you know, the right. Bam, you got your guy who will cater to the left side of politics. Not just politics, you know, which is bad enough, and what Johnny Carson never wanted for a late night spot, and what David Letterman tried to diffuse. He leaned into left politics and found an audience of people who simply hated Trump, and those numbers garnered enough to get other talk show hosts to go political, and until where everybody was either not funny, going to lame game show gags to try to be anti-political, talking to you, Jimmy Fallon, or just, or Kimmel, whatever the fuck Kimmel has become. And so I knew that Colbert was not going to be on forever. He just simply isn't good enough in the role. I didn't think that he was going to be so bad that CBS was just going to say, fuck this, we're done, we're out of the game. And I don't believe that has anything to do with Trump. I don't. Apparently this decision was coming down for a very, very long time. The numbers aren't there. He's tanked. He's just, they're not, nobody cares talking about late night television anymore. Nobody cares about the Late Show. Nobody cares about the Tonight Show. That pisses me off because we should still be. There's good source of information and humor. It was a way of digesting information in such a fucking positive way as we turned in for the night. We don't have that anymore. We have, fuck, get up tomorrow because life's going to suck and you're going to hate everybody. And here's why you should fear them. That's what we get out of late night television nowadays. And it sucks. Who can go to sleep to that? So I'm glad that Colbert is gone. I'm glad that he'll be leaving. I hope that he's not going to get another show. I hope that he doesn't even go to podcasting. I'm just tired of Stephen Colbert. But I'm disappointed in CBS for not trying to revive. And maybe in a couple years they will. Maybe there is plans for some sort of a late night revival. I don't know. But unless they go suck the dick of Craig Ferguson, it's going to be hard finding someone who gets it. Because there's just nobody who gets it. David Spade would be great. If he wanted to do the job, he'd be great. David Spade probably had the best late night show. He had this show a couple of years ago, but he died because of COVID. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it was fantastic. He was great. I would love to have seen Jerry Seinfeld take a run. Like Jerry Seinfeld's not old enough yet, where you like he's not too old. He could take a couple years run, but he's hated and you know, Jewish. He's probably never doing it now. It's just it really. It's just sad. It's again, seeing the death of late night is just up there with the sadness of death that we've had this week. So no matter who affected you the most this week, take a moment, man. And again, if you can't understand the significance of Hulk Hogan, I mean, like, just try to get into... Just try to watch something from the time periods. Try to see the way crowds would go crazy for this band. I really don't know what else to say other than that. Like, he was so influential. He was everywhere. He made people love the country. You know what I mean? Like John Cena, that's saying the same way that they share that. It's a crazy thing. Like that's how powerful that was. And I miss that. It feels like we can't have that anymore. You know, things were simpler. And that's not just age talking, you know, because like the world, I think everybody agrees. The world has it. Like everyone wants to say, I'm sure every generation as they've been growing up is like, oh man, as you get older, life gets so much crazier. And you look, the last 40 years of my life, things have just gotten progressively worse. I've lived in the worst 40 years of the modern age, the most awesome time to be alive. I've just watched shit roll down. All over my face, neck, and chest. I'm sad that I'm not more sad over the passing of the biggest star in wrestling history. It's his own doing. I don't disagree with that, but that's only because of your age, though, that you feel that way. I agree with you. It is his own doing, but I don't know if it should, all that notwithstanding. Like, we know what type of a piece of shit racist stuff. We get it. We get it. But that wasn't him walking down the aisle beating up fucking Piper. You know what I mean? It's like, I was alive for that shit. Like, you don't know. I cried when he turned it. When he told me to stick it as a fan, I cried. And yes, DM King, I was very happy that I was so worried that the crowd was going to boo him. I really was. And I'm glad that we've had some old heads like Devon and shit speak positively. And I am. And I just think this is one of those where maybe let's just let it go. You know, Hogan, like, let's let some of it go and just appreciate. We have no problem separating art from artist in other cases. Okay? Okay? We do. We do it all the time. Michael Jackson's a pretty good. I don't want to start beating up other people's fucking heroes and icons and shit. But I want to say that most of your icons are problematic as fuck. And I'm saying that maybe it's time to go back to the mindset from 5-10 years ago where we separate art from artists and be able to celebrate the life of somebody for what they accomplished, for what they should be celebrated for. We punished the other shit. We canceled the fuck out of that man. He couldn't even enjoy that Gawker money. Now let's talk about how important his career was. Let's talk about that importance and significance and what it felt. We don't have wrestling today without him. It's not that he's the most, it's not as simple as simply saying he's the most important figure in wrestling. That's so blasé. It's an understatement. It's unfair if you didn't live during it. Watching it on the network isn't the same. Watching the reruns with friends, not the fucking same. You know, when I was 4 years old, and unfortunately I don't have the pictures. My mom died and all the pictures that she had was thrown the fuck out. But I met Hulk Hogan when I was 4 years old. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. This is a true fucking story. 1987. And maybe it might have been 87. It was either 3 or 4. And, you know, Hogan, I want to say, I wish I could lie to you and say I remember it. I don't. It's too young. But my mom always talked about it. And I don't know. It's just because we were programmed to beat up on him so much. It's hard to just really, like, this has been an emotional death. It hit me hard emotionally. You know, it's just, I don't know. Dave, what do you think about Tony Khan not saying anything about the Hulkster? He's clown shoes. He's fucking clown shoes. He's fucking clown shoes. Some of the people that he have on the roster, are we fucking forgetting some of the fucking people that he's brought? Like, he's clown shoes. And honestly, I'm glad to see the company starting to really fail. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. I hate that it has to come at some of the fucking health. Osprey's going to be done within the next year. His body's falling apart. Adam Cole's probably fucking done. Keith, done. Like, Tony Khan is going to go down because they're not making it to 10 years, folks. They're not TNA. They're not TNA. They're not TNA. They're not making it to 10 years. Tony Khan's going to go down as the worst thing that has ever happened to wrestling because he has pushed false narratives and false beliefs, and the fact that he wouldn't even acknowledge the reason why he's doing wrestling in the first, it's just disgusting. Just disgusting. Fake, I get what you're saying. I'm not. I was reading that, you hooker. God damn it, I was reading that. How dare you, sir? I don't have a lot of comments tonight. I want to see that. Let me see it. I can't see it. I want to see what you said, you prick. God damn it. But anyway, Like, and I don't even want to like push like you have to fucking appreciate Hogan. I'm not trying to say that. I think that people should. I do. I think that like if you're a real oh God, I hate that. If you're a real wrestling fan, no, if you feel that you really do have an appreciation of the history and the importance of wrestling and blah blah blah. I mean, you gotta. I think you owe it to yourself almost to try and look at this through a different scope. You know, it just because why? Why hate the man? Why hate the man in death? Like as time goes on, there will be less and less hatred for him. I'm pretty sure of that. Because for as awful as the shit that he said was, and they were, he wasn't Hitler. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it like that, but I do think it's important to talk about the levels in this shit and the way that we can use cancel culture and all this type of stuff. And I'm not even trying, again, I hate the fact that it was a leaked conversation, as disgusting as it was. And it was, again, can't fucking stress enough how awful it was. But a leaked conversation that led to a gigantic lawsuit and the death of a company. It's one of the most complicated fucking stories. Like, and it shouldn't be. I hate that we're in this part of life where it's just like shaming has become so prevalent. And I'm not even saying he doesn't deserve it. You see how you gotta like fucking talk and try to outthink it and it's fucking sick. It sucks. You know, it really sucks. I'm able to separate Hogan and Terry more than most. You are. And I think it's because I raised you right. I'd like to think that has a lot to do with me. You grew up hearing me repeat a lot of the same narratives and stay very consistent on this topic over the years. And I think that it's probably helped you separate. I think you've also heard me talk about the importance of Hogan and you just understand wrestling like that. So yeah, that doesn't shock me. And I'm not screaming at you and talking to you, although a lot of the problem is coming from your fucking age group. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm going to go back to say the same fucking thing I said at the beginning. Maybe this one's just not yours. Like, get it. I get it. Like, hate him in silence. Maybe shut the fuck up. Because this one just ain't yours. This is not going to be your memory. And I can accept that. I can accept that. Because I can't deny how his death has made me feel. In the same week as Ozzy was a fucking gut punch. Ozzy dying hit me so hard. That shit hurted. That hurted so bad. And then Hogan died. And I didn't know what to do. Like, it was close to the feeling I had when my mom died. That's disgusting. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, does that make me a bad person feeling this way? Like, I'm sitting in the shower. I am a real American. Fight for the right of almost every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life. Shit affected me, man. Hurt. Shit fucking hurt, man. Oh God. It's like I'm saying, this is a fucked up week. And I'm old. I'm 42. I'm gonna die. I'm hoping I got 40 more years. Mm-hmm. I look good though, don't I? I look like I'm gonna live for a while longer. I have to admit, I'm very, and I kind of want to shift into myself right now and why I haven't been able to get on and be around. And I am trying now. I'm really trying to get back on a schedule, and I'm hoping my life is going to allow it. But I work pretty much every day of the week. Pretty much every day of the week. Still, the Pawn Nation thing is going amazing, and now we've separated into entities. We're now Pawn Nation and Central Cards and Collectibles. I run that, which is just awesome. We've been open officially since July 1st. I'm having my first trade night on August 1st. If you are in the Connecticut area and you want to come down, trade some cards, some Pokemon, some sports, comic books, wrestling stuff, memorabilia, albums, shoes, whatever, come on down. Come on down. I'm really excited about everything that's been going on. I have, over the last 2 months, 3 months especially, I have really plunged everything I am into the shop and really gone for it. And I never thought any of this was going to be possible. I never thought I'd work again. I never thought I'd, be able to potentially, have my own thing. I never thought I would be driving. I drive now. I have a car. I am actually it's crazy. It's just been an insane last year of my life, and a lot more insanity's on the way. So, but I am trying to get more stuff going. I got some huge shows coming up. I'm going to be a table. I'm going to be vending the two biggest shows on the East Coast this quarter. I'm going to be vending both the East Coast Collectibles card show at Mohegan Sun. I'm actually going to finally be a vendor at that show. And I'm going to be vending the first ever hard-hitting card show at Mohegan Sun. My boy Sly is going to be running that show. Unbelievable event, and I'm in that show. I also have a huge show coming up on August 23rd. I'm going to try to live stream all these, by the way. It's hard, though, because I don't have very good internet at some of these locations. But I'll be at the Hartford Yard Goats Stadium, outdoor stadium, on August 23rd, a Saturday. We're going to be set up with a couple of tables there, all kinds of stuff selling. If you ever want to hit me up, I hit this huge flea market in New Milford. It's a show in of its own. It's called the Elephant's Trunk. I'm set up there a lot. We're doing a lot of things. I'm trying to integrate, and the Cubs are starting to beat the fuck out of the White Sox. Yay. I'm trying to integrate the streaming element back into all of it. It's just hard because I'm dealing with so much money and so much sales, and it's hard. I have to be focused on one thing or the other. And I don't have anyone to help me. I don't have anyone to cameraman for me or watch the chat. It's just, I don't even have anyone to be there and work the booths with me. So it's very hard to try to stream it and stay focused on everybody. And then when it starts to slow down, I feel like I can stream, and then I get flooded. It's rough. It's really tough. So, but I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe I'll do some recording. I'm trying to think about doing more recording here as well. But live streams are so easy until I just don't hit the damn live recording button. So, Vegas, but I don't like that people are shaming people for mourning Hogan, and I don't like people shaming folks for not being more mournful. There's a balance. We all need to be fence sitters. I disagree with that. I'm not saying that people should mourn more. I'm saying shut the fuck up. I think that's like, if you're not on this one, shut the fuck up. I mean, look at it. You won. He died. God ultimately ruled in your favor. Look at that. Look at it that way. God said you're right. Take the W. Take the W. Let all the rest of us just mourn this motherfucker's career the way we have to without fucking fear, because this shit hurts. This shit sucks. Like this, there's never gonna be a bigger wrestling death. Maybe Vince and his legacy is way more complicated than Hogan's. Way more. His N-words weren't leaked. Those were planned. Think about that. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, boys and girls. But it is something that I wanted to talk about desperately just because it's been on my mind so damn much. Like I said, we're going to do another show in the next couple of days, because I don't want to backlog the show now and talk about the Alexandra Rodriguez thing or the Bo Blacks and Tipster thing. I'm going to do that on the next show. So maybe tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. I have nothing to do for the first and last Sunday in a very long time, because I don't have another Sunday free pretty much for the end of the year. I wish I was exaggerating, but it's true. It's I started looking at chat and forgot what I was saying. We're going to do another show. I'm going to talk about Tipster and Bo Blacks because it's just too goddamn funny. And talking about Alexandra Rodriguez. I got to talk about this. I've done a video with Blossom on it. If you don't know that YouTube has changed policies again, I highly recommend you look into the new copyright rulings. You also might want to look into some of your favorite commentary reaction channels and stuff like that, because some of them might be gone. whole lot of channels are being taken out, and in the Alexandra Rodriguez case, it appears that it came from a manual triggering and not an automatic review, but she wiped out an entire fucking community of haters. And depending on how this goes, this was the wrong time to do that. She false flagged them. They're fake copy. They're not authentic copyright shit. These are bad copyright claims. It's bad. It's real because she was flagging them for harassment. She wanted them taken down for harassment. Couldn't get them taken down for harassment, so it looks like she went and took them down with copyright. And she got, creators were getting, and some of these are piece of shit, don't get me wrong, but they were getting like 33 copyright notices at once. That's just, your channel's gone. You're getting strikes. You're gone. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. So I definitely want to talk about that, and I want to talk about Tipster and Bowblacks. And maybe a few other things too. So that'll be tomorrow, the next day. Will I be watching SummerSlam? I really want to tell you that I am 100% doing it, but I don't know. Friday night is my first card show, my trade night at my shop. I really wish people can come down for that. August 1st, Friday, August 1st, 6 to 9 p.m. Big trade night, kind of a make or break night for me that I am stressing out. I might be giving myself a kidney stone as we speak. Thank you, Toxic Dome. I hear you rocking the microphone, and I think I will be back more frequently. What's up, Shadow Humor? How you doing? He ain't going, brother. He's just taking a break. Training with the Macho Man, yeah. You know you want to train with the man. I'm trying to lock it in. It's been a long time since I did the Macho Man. Yeah, that's right. The Macho Man has lived deep and down inside for a really long time. Yeah, it's really hard to do the madness consistently. In fact, I think I might have to take a shit. Yeah. What's up there, Shadow? Well, remember that SummerSlam is early next week, 6 p.m. start on both nights. The Nacho Man madness. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much more I got. I'm starting to sweat. I think it's because I have the AC off. But I really think that's about it. I'm going to take a nice little rip here. Expect more shows. I'm going to really try to get on here a little more consistently. Thank you guys for joining in. Go back and watch the rest of the show. It was pretty damn good. Not bad. Almost did a full hour. Yeah? Golf clap? Anyone care? No? Fuck you? Good. Great. Watching movies, hitting stuff. I want to talk about some of the shows, movies. Next week, I want to hit Rick and Morty at some point because I think the season's over now. At least 9 episodes have been out. Want to talk about that because quietly, fantastic fucking season out of Rick and Morty this year. So, and thank you, DM King. We're back in full effect, y'all. So let's do a big old rip. Next couple of days, you're going to get a little drama content. I'm going to talk about the Alexandra Rodriguez situation. I'm going to talk about Bowblacks and Tipster. And probably a couple other things, because I was talking earlier about this whole suing thing, everything that's going on with with Ethan Klein suing people and all this shit. It's this is the time where these type of stories, like what Alexandra Rodriguez is doing, or did rather, could have some serious ramifications, like actual, which is crazy. Let's rip it up, bitches. Have yourselves a fantastic evening. I hope that you enjoyed tonight. You know that I did. Always will. And here's a little real talk for you on the way out. Huh? You love real talk. How could you not?
But I guess that's what I need in life because I don't get no sleep at night, so I'm
toxic. How can he not? It's like it's one of those with Hogan. It's his influence on the world is immeasurable. You can't say enough. Good to see you. It's good to be seen. Don't I look pretty? How good do I look? Fucking obsess over it, nerds. And by the way, before I go, if you haven't heard, I got a lot of stuff happening in my life. Not only with the the shop and everything, but the VA is actually going to take off all my fucking skin from all the years of the weight loss because I've maintained my weight. So all this, they're taking. They're fixing it. They're gonna get rid of this, which is fucking crazy. It's gone. It's gonna be gone. And I'm supercalifragilisticexpial excited over it because I don't know how I'm gonna look. I don't know when. And here's the thing. All right, let's fucking talk about it now because I'm going to get a little angry because the VA always likes to fuck around and they're doing it again. And it's not really just them. It's just the same fucking clinic. It's the same clinic that once again is rearing their stupid, incompetent heads. The pain clinic. So if you can remember back a couple of years, about 4 years ago, I had a surgery to get my spinal cord stimulator box replaced, which was unsuccessful. They replaced the box, but it turned out that my wire in my back, it was so destroyed that it wasn't sending any electronic stimulation through my body anymore. So when they woke me up mid-surgery to check the latency and it didn't work, I said, take it out. You have me open. Take it out. I want it gone. Let's get it out of me. They didn't. Let's see what happens. 4 years later, they never took it out. And now that's what's holding up this. I would have already been scheduled. But because they won't do anything for this until I have this other surgery, because once I have this, I basically can't have another surgery. I can't have any more surgeries. And I have to pretty much keep my weight where it is or I'm going to fuck everything up. So, hopefully, very soon, these guys are going to figure out when they're going to, because now they're going to take everything. Because on my latest x-ray, it turned out that this wire, a titanium wire in my back is now completely, it's broken. Which I didn't know could happen. Did you know titanium could snap? I didn't. No clue. It's probably cheap titanium, photanium and shit. So I have a open wire in my back. So, zang. So hopefully they're going to take this shit out. They're giving me the fuck around. But hopefully very soon. That I did an appointment with the doctor, right? Listen to this shit. This pain clinic, Dr. King, this asshole who I hated the last time he did the surgery, he calls me, tells me, explains to me, asks me what I want to do, talks me out of the option that I chose originally to go the direction he wanted to. And then when I said, okay, let's schedule it, he said, you have to talk to your new doctor because I'm retiring in 3 weeks. You cunt! I couldn't believe it. If there would have been a baby in front of me, I would have Sparta kicked it off a cliff. That's how I felt. I'm like, why are you talking to me at all? Why are we having a conversation? Why did you feel this was more? I hate you. Hate you. Yeah. Yeah. Me. And what do I do? All I do is try to improve myself. I've gotten out of the bed. Guys, do you understand that? I've gone from bedridden to wheelchair to walker, off the cane now. I don't even have a cane anymore. I'm defying medicine. I'm saying, fuck you. I'm taking my life back and I'm getting punished for it. Eat a dick. Anyway, once again, I feel like I've gone too far. They make weed for that. So. There we go. Veteran difficulty mode. No shit. Thank you guys for hanging out. I greatly appreciate you. We'll talk about donos and subs and all that after I get a little more consistency going. Hopefully you'll see some Twitch streams out of me too. I'm trying to have a little bit, like, I needed the stream tonight. I feel mentally burned out. I'm going to be just candid with you for a minute. I love everything I'm doing with the shop. I love my life right now. I'm busting my ass to have a good future. My body is barely hanging on, and I have a lot of responsibility that's being thrust on me when I thought I would never have responsibility again. And it's a lot, and it's hard some days. And I have maxed myself out, and it's really taken a toll. And I don't have this show every night anymore to just get everything out of this crazy stuffed fucking brain of mine. So I had to find time, and luckily, or unluckily rather, that we had the deaths that we've had this week. I couldn't ignore it, and the voices in my head were screaming way too loud. So I needed this desperately. I feel like a weight has been lifted. Just being able to talk to you guys and just being able to come on. I feel like a weight has been lifted. So I feel better being able just to bullshit with you. So I miss you guys. I really am trying to get on more often. And I'm going to try and simply push that button a little more frequently. All right. I'm sorry to anyone that I've let down for like not being around, because I never wanted to be that guy. But sometimes life is life, man. And you ride it. You ride it until it bucks you. You don't ride it at all. So thank you guys for coming back. Thank you for being here. Keep it copious. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Real talk. I got the wrong mouse. Take us home. Take us gone. Let's see you the next time. And there will be one soon. Good night.
We scared they ain't gon' beef with Genghis Khan. I'm higher than a dinosaur. She Oreo like Baltimore. I taught them what I know. That make me feel like I was Gryffindor. Get your game right. She hot. I call her sunlight. With lips like she's Brad's life. I ask her cost a crash site. But that's the way it is. I guess I play protagonist. This shit will never change. I'ma go out with her. This may be everything I'm dreaming. I wake up, my superstition say the government for scheming. Here we go. This must be everything I'm dreaming. I wake up, my superstition say the government been scheming. Here we go. I roll up, they say the city lights is feeling me. My girl, she super real. She think that ain't nobody cool as me. Flying in Pacifics, I'll be ripping till I'm gone. I sit back and blaze away like I'm Akeem Olajuwon. Yeah, da-da-da. Yeah, da-da-da. Hip hop. I'm real talk, hip hop. I'm real talk. Good one, Jay Philly. Yeah.
Welcome to the new world. You dig?
We always dig, even when I hit the wrong button. I know I just did a rip, but I'm a degen, so we're gonna do one more. Have a great night, Mush Puffs. We'll see you next time. Light it up. Shout it on the rooftop, shout it out, baby. I'm ready to go. Good night.